Welcome to your journey of awakening.
Hari Om, Canto-2, Vrindavana Khanda, Chapter 21, Krishna's Rasa Lila with the Gopis. Krishna leaves the proud Gopis and later disappears from Radha's sight. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, Sri Krishna, accompanied by Radha Devi and the blessed Gopis, wandered through the enchanting groves of Kumudavana. The forest was adorned with blossoming creepers, majestic trees, and flowers spreading their divine fragrance in every direction. Immersed in the bliss of one another's company, they gradually arrived at the sacred forest of Kamavana. There, upon the summit of a beautiful hill, the Supreme Lord raised his flute to his lips and began to play a melody of indescribable sweetness. That divine sound was not merely music. It was the loving call of the Supreme Lord to the souls who had completely surrendered themselves at his lotus feet. As the melody entered their hearts, the Gopis became overwhelmed with boundless love and an intense longing to be united with their beloved Krishna. Even the celestial women and heavenly apsaras became spellbound by the nectar flowing from his flute and were filled with divine attraction toward the Lord. The entire creation appeared to surrender before that sacred melody. The flowing waters of the rivers and lakes became motionless, as though they too had entered a state of deep meditation. Trees, creepers, celestial beings, and all of nature remained silent, listening with devotion to the transcendental flute of Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna performed the divine Rasa Lila at Nandishvara and upon the slopes of Brihadsanu. Delighted by the rare fortune of receiving the Lord's intimate association, the Gopis began to consider themselves more fortunate than all others. Gradually, however, a sense of pride arose within their hearts. The Supreme Lord, who eternally resides only in a heart filled with humility and pure devotion, decided to remove their pride. Leaving the Gopis behind, Sri Krishna disappeared into the forest along with Radha Devi. The moment Krishna vanished from their sight, the joy of the Gopis turned into intense sorrow. Remembering their beloved Lord, they wept bitterly and wandered restlessly from place to place, searching for him everywhere. The Gopis separated into small groups and wandered throughout the forest, desperately searching for their beloved Sri Krishna. Overwhelmed by separation, they spoke to the trees, flowering creepers, and every living being in the forest, asking, "Have you seen our beloved Krishna? Has the Lord of our hearts passed this way?" Their bodies wandered, but their minds never moved away from the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Every thought, every breath, and every heartbeat remained absorbed in remembrance of him. As they continued their search, they suddenly discovered the sacred footprints of the Lord upon the soft sand of the forest path. Then King Bahulashva asked, "O sage Narada, after leaving the other Gopis behind, where did Lord Sri Krishna go with Sri Radha? How did the sorrowful Gopis eventually receive the blessed vision of their beloved Lord? Please be kind to let me know this secret story." Sri Narada replied, Lord Krishna had gone with Sri Radha beneath the sacred Sanketa banyan tree. In that secluded and divine place, the Lord lovingly gathered fragrant flowers and adorned Radha's beautiful braided hair with them. Delighting in each other's company, Sri Krishna and Radha wandered together through the beautiful forests of Bhadravana, Khadiravana, Bilvavana, and Kokilavana. Meanwhile, the Gopis continued to follow the footprints of Lord Krishna. As they carefully observed the sacred marks upon the forest path, they discovered another set of delicate footprints beside those of Sri Krishna. The Gopis immediately understood that these were the footprints of Sri Radha. they became certain that he had taken Sri Radha with him. Following the trail of Lord Krishna's sacred footprints, the Gopis eventually arrived at Kokilavana. Hearing the voices of the Gopis drawing nearer, Sri Krishna gently spoke to Radha. Radhe, the Gopis have now arrived here. If they find us, they will take you back with them. Therefore, we must depart from this place without delay. At that moment, a subtle feeling of pride arose within Radha because of her incomparable beauty, youth, wisdom, and noble qualities. Turning towards her beloved Sri Krishna, she said, "O Krishna, I seldom leave the comfort of my home, but today I have walked such a long distance and have become extremely tired. I am completely exhausted and my beautiful form is covered in perspiration. My body no longer has the strength to continue walking. I cannot take another step." Upon hearing Radha's words, the compassionate Lord lovingly fanned her with his sacred yellow silk garment called Pitambara. He then held her hand tenderly and asked her to continue walking at a gentle pace. However, no matter how much Krishna persuaded her, Radha refused to take even a single step forward. Overcome by pride, she turned her back towards the Lord and stood there in silence. Seeing her pride and stubbornness, Lord Krishna then spoke to Radha. "The other gopis also wish to join me here. Therefore, Radhe, climb upon my shoulders and I shall carry you comfortably." Hearing these words, Radha approached the Lord and attempted to climb onto his shoulders. But before she could do so, Sri Krishna suddenly vanished from her sight. At that very moment, every trace of pride within Radha's heart was completely destroyed. Overwhelmed by the unbearable pain of separation from her beloved Krishna, she began to weep aloud. Just then, the gopis who had been wandering through the forest in search of Krishna arrived at that place. When they heard Radha weeping, their hearts got warm with compassion, and they also felt ashamed of the pride they had previously shown. They gently comforted Radha and helped her wash up. They sprinkled her with fragrant water infused with musk, sandalwood, and saffron, and softly fanned her to ease her distress. Sitting beside her, they inquired about her well-being and offered her words of consolation. When Radha narrated everything that had happened between her and Lord Krishna, the gopis listened with great astonishment. Here ends the 21st chapter of the second canto. Hari Om.